Hey guys, Mish here, and today's study is one piece of evidence for why diets just don't work. And this study looks at how dieting affects people's stress levels, because there have been tons of studies done in the past showing correlations between dieting and being stressed out. And so in these correlational studies, it's not clear which direction the effect goes. So it could be that dieting causes stress, or it could be that you're more likely to diet if you're already a stressed out type person. So this study aims to tease that apart and actually show which direction the effect goes, whether it's dieting causing stress or stress causing dieting. And to look at this study took 120 women and assigned them to one of four groups. One group monitored their calorie intake and also restricted their calorie intake to 1,200 calories. The second group monitored their calorie intake but did not restrict their intake. So all they did was write down what they ate, like in MyFitnessPal, like logging their food diaries and calories and all that, but without trying to eat less. And then the third group just restricted their calories without monitoring. And to do this, they were given prescribed food to eat, so they didn't have to think about their food, the researchers gave it to them, to ensure that they were eating 1,200 calories without having to know that they were eating 1,200 calories. And then the fourth group did nothing, they were the control, so they neither monitored their calories nor tried to restrict them. And these participants did this diet for 3 weeks, and their stress levels before and afterwards were assessed. So their perceived stress and how they felt. And also their cortisol levels, which is a hormone that is largely related to stress, but it's not totally linear relationship, but still useful to look at. So I know this is kind of getting to be my catchphrase, but these results are unexpected, I'll say. Because usually you'd think that the actual eating less would cause stress. But in this case, it was actually the monitoring calorie intake that caused stress. So the participants who had to log all their food in MyFitnessPal or in a food journal or diary, like write down what they ate at every meal, actually felt more stressed than the participants who only got 1,200 calories a day to eat. And you have to keep in mind half of the group that was monitoring their intake was also restricting their calories. But half of that group was not restricting their calories. They were just writing down what they were eating without trying to change anything. But as it turns out, that actually caused them to feel stressed out. Whereas the group that was eating very few calories without having to care about what they're eating did not feel stressed out. And I should add that the groups who restricted their calories lost 2 pounds, whereas the groups who did not restrict their calories actually gained 2.5. And so they didn't include the analyses that would allow us to see exactly what's going on here, but it is quite possible that monitoring your calories without forcing yourself to eat less actually makes you eat more. But the point is, this study shows that the act of keeping track of what you eat and monitoring what you eat is actually the stressful part of dieting. And how this relates to why diets fail is that there's a ton of research showing that people tend to regain weight after dieting. And a factor that seems to be really predictive of this is how stressed out they are. And I'll share another study specifically on that in part 2 of this little series of why diets fail. But the point is, it seems like dieting increases your stress, which then causes you to eat more when you go back to your normal diet or after the restrictive or monitoring part of the diet is done, and that causes you to often gain even more weight than you lost. So you end up at a higher weight than before you tried to do a diet. However, that does not mean that there is no hope for those of you looking to lose weight, because there are plenty of ways to lose weight without having to monitor or feel like you're restricting yourself. So, of course, my personal favorite way, and the one that I find is most supported by science, is a low-fat vegan diet. And I know some of you may be thinking, oh god, she's just recommending another diet and calling it something else. Which, sure, that's valid, but I guess when I say diets don't work, what I mean is intentional calorie restriction with an intention to lose weight and nothing else. And so, typically dieting just means trying to eat less, trying to restrict yourself. But in this case, I definitely suggest eating as much as you want in abundance and don't try to restrict yourself at all. And even before I knew about this study, one of the reasons I've been such a proponent of a high-carb, low-fat vegan diet is because you can eat whatever you want, whenever you want, without calorie counting, until you're full, and lose weight without trying. And I feel like that just takes away so much of the stress, and as this study shows, it does seem like having to count every morsel you put in your face does cause people a lot of stress, unsurprisingly, because it's just a hassle all day long, and then you're also thinking about your weight a lot every time you're having to write down what you eat, and it just gets you into this bad place, and you probably eat more in order to try to make up for that stress, and so it then backfires. And from my own personal experience, I have definitely painfully noticed that whenever I try to monitor my calorie intake, I get really stressed out and I eat more and I almost always gain weight. But when I finally decided to stop calorie counting after 5 years of daily calorie counting and start intuitive eating, my stress went away around food and I was able to eat less and feel really satisfied and lose weight without trying, and most importantly, just feel good. So if you are stuck in a dieting rut and counting each and every calorie, I really recommend giving it a shot to stop counting. And I think just as importantly is to adopt a healthier lifestyle. So you want to think of it not as a diet, but as changing your food intake as a way to make yourself healthier and happier. And so eating more plants, eating less processed foods are all a great way to lead to natural weight loss without having to get neurotic and stressed out and risk regaining a bunch of weight afterwards, because you don't want a short crash diet, you want a lifestyle change if you really want to change how you look and how you feel. And I'm planning on doing a part 2 to this Why Dieting Fails series of studies, and I think the next one's going to be on why stress causes the weight regain afterwards. So stay tuned for that, and thanks so much for watching. Please share and subscribe to see more videos.